This conference will now be recorded.
Somebody can disturb me. I mean, unmute yourself, disturb me, and let me know that the session is not getting recorded. So now, right now, the session. Oh, I was on mute. Okay, sorry guys. Now you can speak as well. So I was on mute. I was not even knowing that I was on mute. So can somebody quickly speak just to check, if my speakers are working fine.
Hi, Kumar, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
Okay.
hear you.
Thanks.
Okay, Abdul, right? Okay, thank you guys. Okay, now the session is getting recorded, guys. Thank you for the reminder. By the way, some of the new folks who have joined just today, every session every day gets recorded, okay, and then the recorded video, okay, recorded video will be sent to you by EOD on that particular day, okay. Okay, and you have the lifetime access to these videos, okay. Just that you know, guys, okay. So you get any issues with Jmeter, you are on your own. But Jmeter is a mature tool, okay. It has been out in the market for a while. So you have solutions for a lot of issues, okay. And basically the LoadRunner tool itself, okay. The tool itself has some limitations, okay. And you wanted to go beyond the limitations, okay. Typically they give some plugins, okay. So you can install those plugins and you can get that additional functionality. For example, where does the plugins play the role? Okay, so you all know what is parameterization. Okay, so the Jmeter supports parameterization. Okay, but by default, whatever the parameterization that Jmeter supports, okay, it will take the values, okay, from the parameter file, okay, sequentially. Okay, so let's say there is a value called Jojo, there is a value called test1, there is a value called test2, there is a value called test3. Okay, the Jmeter picks up the value sequentially. For the first iteration, it will take Jojo, then the second iteration test1, then the test2, then test3. So this is how the values will be taken. But in case you want the values to be picked up by Jmeter for different iterations randomly, okay, you wanted the tool to pick up the values randomly, okay, then the Jmeter itself, okay, doesn't have any option like that, just like your LoadRunner has. So what you have to do is you have to install something called a plugin, okay, you have to install something called a plugin, okay, which is a Jmeter plugin, okay, which will give you this additional functionality of picking up the values randomly. Just that you know, I'm telling you guys, where does the plugins come into picture when it comes to Jmeter? Okay, so install this plugin, automatically this function, the plugin has that particular functionality and you can start using this functionality and start the Jmeter to pick up the values randomly. Like this, you can have plugins. But still, you wanted something else which the plugins is not giving you, then you have to create some scripts in Bin shell, okay, or Groovy. These are the programming languages, guys, okay. Or there is one more programming language as well. So you can create your own programs in this particular programming language and give that additional functionality to Jmeter, okay, if plugins are not helping you. Well, now let's start using the Jmeter, guys. Let's start using the Jmeter now. Okay, let's try to record some script. Okay, let's try to record some script via Jmeter. Okay, so to record the scripts, first you need to install Jmeter. Okay, so first you need to have the Jmeter on your system so that you can start using this Jmeter. If you go to HP LoadRunner, you have downloaded HP LoadRunner and you have installed it and you saw 3 components installed, which is ViewGen, controller and analysis. Okay, so Jmeter has these 3 components. To answer the question, it doesn't have any of those 3 components. It just has only one component, which is the Jmeter itself. Okay, And do we need to install, just like HP LoadRunner, we have installed it over here, okay? So do we need to install Jmeter? No, okay? Jmeter you need not have to install. It is an executable jar file, guys, okay? Executable jar file, okay? Which means that you double click on that particular file and the Jmeter opens, okay? Double click on that particular file, Jmeter opens. For example, you double click on this SAPGUI login opens. You double click on this popcorn time, this will open. Maybe if you install Skype, I don't know if I have Skype, okay? Okay, I don't have Skype, but if I add a Skype, you double click on it, it will open because it's an executable files. These are all executable files. You have TeamViewer here, you double click, it will open. Because it's an executable file. You have a Word document, you double click on it, it will open because it's an executable file. So these are all the executable files. So Jmeter also came up with an executable file. You double click on it and then the Jmeter opens. Okay, where do I have to double click? Okay, so to open the Jmeter. So I have created a shortcut for Jmeter which you can double click and open. But where did it came from? It came from this Apache Jmeter folder. So you double click on this Apache Jmeter folder, you double click on the bin folder, and you see this executable jar file, Apache Jmeter, you double click on it, then the Apache Jmeter opens. Wonderful, guys. This is how we can invoke the Jmeter. Okay, this is how we can invoke the Jmeter. Kumar, where did you get this folder from? Where did you get this folder from? Okay, that's the question, right? Where did you get this folder from? Okay, don't worry. It's not that difficult. Just to say, download Jmeter. Okay, download Jmeter. Let's look at the version of Jmeter as well. It is 5.2. Let's go ahead and see it. Okay, so this particular folder opens. You see the Apache Software Foundation, Apache Jmeter. Okay, so you see the latest version is 5.2.1. So last week when I checked, it was 5.2. Now you see how regularly they are upgrading or updating Jmeter. It kind of tells you that Jmeter has been used by a lot of people. Okay, used by a lot of people. Just last week when I checked, the version was 5.2, and within a week they have upgraded it to 5.2.1. So which means that every week they are making changes to Jmeter, almost every week. Which means that they are it is being used very, very often. Okay. And there are two things, one is binary and one is source. You don't want source, you want the binary. And in binary, there are two files. Okay, one is zip file, one is tgz. I want you to download the zip file. Okay, it is hardly 70 MB file, guys. It just downloads, within a span of few seconds. Okay, let me go ahead and quickly download it. Just click on that and the download starts. You see, it is 62 MB. Last time when I checked, it was 58 MB. Now it is 62 MB. So never mind, it hardly takes any time to download. Okay, so now whatever you have downloaded, it is 5.2.1. It is typically a zip file. Since I have WinRAR software which is installed on my system, it is trying to open with WinRAR. Otherwise, it will it will try to open with your zip. Okay, whatever the WinZip or whatever the other software you have. Okay, just double click on it. Go ahead and unzip it. Let me store it on my desktop. Okay, there you go, guys. So let me see where it is. You see 5.2.1. This is the folder, that it got unzipped. I'm just removing the unwanted thing, guys. Okay, just double click on this, and now once this Apache Jmeter 5.2.1 opens, a bunch of files you don't want it to disturb. So there are some doc files, wherein you can look at the documents maybe, and then you have a CSS files. So you have library files. Jmeter typically make use of all these libraries, when it has to do certain activity. So and then it has licenses. But what is more important for you is a bin folder. Okay, so bin folder is where you actually invoke the Jmeter from. Okay, so you need not have to understand all of this. Okay, but you can open and see what they are. But what typically you wanted you to look at is bin folder. Okay, and this bin folder is a bunch of files. Okay, so I'll tell you where this Jmeter, Jmeter N, Jmeter T, Jmeter server, all these commands or all these programs will be used. Okay, but for now we'll wanted to invoke the Jmeter, so we can invoke it from this executable jar file, which is Apache Jmeter. Okay, just double click on it and then you will be able to open the Jmeter. You'll be able to open the Jmeter, and the version is shown here, which is 5.2.1. You can go to help about Jmeter. Here also you can see the version, which is 5. Okay, this is how your Jmeter looks like, guys. Okay, at the first go it looks a little overwhelming, so but as we proceed further, as we play around in the next 10 to 15 days, this tool becomes completely familiar to you guys. We'll try to explore as much as possible, or as many options are there, with the best of our abilities. We'll try to explore so that you totally get comfortable with the UI that they are provided. Okay, so I'll leave the floor for any. By the way, any questions that you have? Okay. So any questions that you have, you keep posting it on the chat window, or unmute yourself and speak. Okay. So whenever I come to a logical ending of a particular topic, I'll take your questions. Okay. I would request you to put it down on the chat window so that once I come to the logical ending of a particular topic, I can take those questions. Or if you think that you have to disturb me, please go ahead, feel free to do it on a particular topic. You think that you might forget that out, or it might be inappropriate to discuss about it at the end of the topic. Please disturb me and ask those questions as well. I'm comfortable anyways, but if you put it down in the chat window, I'll be comfortable, because once I come to the logical ending of a particular topic, I can take those questions. Okay, now you see this is an executable jar file. Okay, so jar files typically opens with Java. Okay, jar files typically opens with Java. If you know Java, typically set of instructions. Okay, set of instructions will make a method. Okay, and set of methods will make a class. Okay, and set of classes typically will make a jar file. Okay, so a jar file is a program. Okay, so basically now you have this jar file, executable jar file, so which is Apache Jmeter. So it is the Apache Jmeter itself is a program now, it's a tool. Okay, so there could be multiple methods, there are a lot of instructions, methods, classes, and then inside this particular executable jar file. Okay, they might call multiple programs as well, or multiple classes, which are there in the libraries as well. So, okay, forget about all this, so you need not have to worry about it. So in order to open this executable jar file, do you need a particular software which you have to be installed on your system so that you can open these executable jar files, or this jar file? What do you think, guys? Okay, so Abdul says you need a JRE, okay, which is a Java, okay, basically saying that you need to have a Java installer. But what do you think, guys? There's 28 students in the class. What do you think? Okay, it's an executable jar file. Okay, let's say I've created a doc file. Let's assume. Okay, okay, I've created a doc file, some file. Okay, I've created. Okay. Oh, okay, I cannot do that. Okay. And file save as. Okay, okay, I've created a docs file. Okay, a doc file. Okay, where did I create it? Okay, so forget about all that. So basically, let's say I've created a doc file. Let me close all of it. Okay, So if I created a .docx file, okay. So to open this file, what is the software I need? To open this file, what is the software I need, guys? A Microsoft Word needs to be there, right? A Microsoft Word needs to be there. Okay. So I have an Excel, let's assume. Okay. I have a .xlx file. Okay. To open this file, what is the software that I need? Okay, a Microsoft Excel. Okay, MS Excel. Okay. Similarly, I have an executable jar file. Okay. To open that executable jar file, what you have to install is a Java. What you have to install is a Java. Okay. So if you have a doc file, you need an MS Word to open it. Okay. So you have an XLS, you have basically, okay. So, okay.
Kumar, quickly.
Yeah,
So what you're referring is you need Java runtime rather than Java as an application, right? Because the .jar is a standalone file, right?
right, right. Yes. So that's where I'm coming. So a lot of people doesn't know Java. So let me come to the logical ending, then
Okay.
I'll take. So let me come to the ending. I'm going slowly. Okay. So you need a Java software on your system, okay, to open this executable jar file. Okay. So when you talk about Java, okay, there are two things, okay, when you talk about Java. One is JDK, okay, and one is JRE, okay. So let's say what is JDK, okay. Let me expand JDK, Java Development Kit, okay. Okay, JRE is Java Runtime Environment. Okay. Now, out of these two, what do you think you would need to execute this jar file? Okay, just try to look at these names, guys, and try to guess it. So, which of these two you would want to install to run this jar file? Just looking at the name, use your common sense and tell me. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So Salai says JDK, a lot of people are saying JRE. Okay, so let's say you're building the Jmeter itself. Okay, so instead of Jmeter, let's say our Hagos, okay, wants to build a tool called Hmeter. Okay, okay, Hagos, are you planning anything like that? Hmeter? Okay, Hagos, are you there in the class? Yeah, okay. So his name is, okay, let's look at Ago's complete name. Okay, so what is this complete name? Let me look at it. Hab Agos. Okay, so he wanted to build a tool called Meter. Okay, Hab Agos, right? His name is Hab Meter. Okay, so if he wanted to build something like that and he decided that he wants to use Java to build that Meter, which is a performance testing tool. By the way, it's not out there, guys, it's still working. It is working on the version 1. Okay, so he needs JDK because he wants to develop that tool. Okay, you see Java development kit. Okay, so it has everything you need. This particular JDK, which is a development kit, has everything that Hagos needs to develop this Meter. Okay, so but Kumar, I am a performance testing training. I wanted this is to develop, right? Okay, but Kumar, who is a performance testing, need not have to develop it. It's already been developed by Hagos. I needed to use this. I needed to use this. Okay, use this tool called Meter. Then I don't need the JDK because I'm not developing it. All I need is a JRE because I wanted to execute it. Okay, I just wanted to execute this particular program called Meter. Okay, so that it opens up. So all I need is a JRE, which is a Java runtime environment. Okay, and to be honest, JDK includes JRE plus some additional tools. Just that you know. Okay, just that you know. I don't wanted to go deep into it, but if you know, if you wanted to understand what does JRE involves, there's something called Java Virtual Machine plus some libraries. plus libraries, plus some additional tools, some additional software, some additional tools. Okay. Okay. So basically, JRE means JVM. There's something called Java Virtual Machine. I don't want it to go there. If you're interested in performance engineering, so you would have to study, go deep into JVM. Then it has some additional libraries and additional software so that it becomes JRE. JRE plus additional softwares plus additional libraries becomes JVM. Okay, which is your Java software. Are we clear, guys? So we need JRE. Okay, are we clear so far, all of you? Are we clear so far, all of you? So Hagos, we are waiting for that Jmeter man. Okay, quickly get it done. Okay. By the way, there is no tool called Jmeter. Okay, it's just a mind image. Okay. Hagos, are you there? No, I'm not hearing your voice today. Okay, you keep the addition. I mean, there will be more interview questions. You keep all those interview questions with you. Okay. Thank you, buddy. So now, how do I install this? This one. And by the way, before installing, what is the version of Java that you require, guys? 8 or anything above 8. Okay. So let me go ahead and download Java 8. Okay. And usually the first link should be good enough. Okay. So you see, this is the link from where you can download Java. So I'm sending this link to you on the chat window, guys. Get that link from the chat window. Okay, get that link from the chat window. And you see, so you see Java SE. Java SE means standalone enterprise application, I believe. SE. E is enterprise, this one, standalone E. Okay. There is something called ESE. Okay, let me quickly check what is SE. Okay. I know E is enterprise edition. Okay. SE means standard edition, guys. Okay, standard edition, which is used typically for a desktop application. So we have here a desktop application. Okay, so what is this? Okay, so this is the desktop application. You see, it is there on your desktop. You double click on it, you open. So if you wanted to build something like Apache Jmeter, you would want it to use Java SE. Okay, you wanted to build something like a Facebook. Okay, you wanted to build something like a Facebook, which is a web application. You need Java EE. Okay, so we are going a little deep into Java, guys. It's not required, but just out of curiosity, if somebody's saying like, Kumar, I have seen Java EE, Java SE, and all that. What is it? Okay, if you wanted to build an application like a Facebook or a LinkedIn or other web tools or whatever it is, okay, any web applications, you wanted to use Java EE, which is enterprise edition. Okay. By the way, everybody understands by the word enterprise, right? All of you guys, everybody understands by the word enterprise? All of you guys, yeah? It's a huge company. Enterprise is like Infosys. It is an enterprise. Okay? Like Wipro, it's an enterprise. Microsoft, it's an enterprise. Okay? Small company. Okay? It will be small. It will call as a company. Okay? So enterprise edition means it's for big companies. That's what it means. Typically, it is used for web applications. Okay? This is standard edition. Okay? So which is for desktop applications. Anything which you build on desktop and you wanted to use it. Place to apply for a job. Okay, Abdul always comes with a very professional Wikipedia sort of definition. Abdul. Okay, most of us don't understand. Okay, all that Wikipedia. Anyways, thank you, Abdul, for that formal definition. Okay, Abdul says place to apply for a job. Okay, Abdul, you see, I also provide jobs. I have certain jobs in my company, but mine is nowhere close to enterprise. Telling you. Okay. So, anyways, so standard edition. So you wanted to standard edition is good. Okay. So mine is NSSC. Okay, you would have to abbreviate that, Abdul. Okay. I know there is a good sense of humor, something there lying. Okay, but anyways. Okay. Now you see. Okay. So once you go to this link, what do I download? Okay. If you have a Linux OS, you can download this. You have a Mac, you can download this. You have a Solaris, you can download this. But I have a Windows, I'll download this. But Windows, there are two options here. Okay, which should I download, 86 or 64? Okay, so let me check what is my system. Okay, go to my computer, right click, go to properties, and in the properties you have certain stuff as to, okay, what is the processor? It is an i5 processor with so much of gigahertz. What is the speed of my system? It seems to be 3.4 gigahertz. What is the memory? Or yeah, memory in terms of performance is RAM itself. Whenever I refer to the word memory, it's RAM itself, it's 16 GB. And this is what is important. What is this operating system, guys? It is 64-bit operating system. Wonderful, guys. So which one will I download, guys? 64-bit or 86-bit? Okay, option 1 64, option 2 86. So what do I download for my system? Okay, option 2, which is 64. Okay, sometimes some systems I don't know whether you would have a 32-bit. Maybe the servers would have a 32-bit. So that in that case you would have to download this, okay, which is 86, which is a 32-bit. Okay, so 86 refers to 32. Usually if you have a 32-bit operating system, you would have to download this x86 L64. Almost every single operating system comes with 64 itself, okay, which is used for desktops. Maybe the servers you might have 32. Okay, then that's where you have to download that. So this is just a 210 MB file, guys. You just download this, okay, and it gets, and then you can install it. You just say click next, 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 and I'm not going to show you how to install Java. I expect you to download it and install it, guys. Download it and install it. Okay. If you have any issues, maybe in the next class, stay after the class. I'll download it on your systems and install it. Okay. So to open this Jmeter, installing Java is mandatory? Yes, the answer is yes. You have to install Java to open Jmeter, and it's mandatory. Okay, it's mandatory to install Java to open the Jmeter, guys. Okay, so is this done? So Kumar, even I have installed Java, but still when I double click on it, okay, when I double click on this, it is throwing error. What could be the possible reason? What could be the possible reason? Okay, the possible reason is environment variables are not set. Environment variables are not set. Okay, only if you are facing issue after installing Java, you are not able to open the Jmeter, then the next thing that I would ask you to do is environment variables. Set the environment variables. How do I do it? Very, very simple, guys. Go online, search, anywhere as to how to set environment variables. It's going to show you. Okay, there are a lot of articles out there. So I have Windows 7. How do I do it on Windows 7? Go to computer, right click on it, go to properties. What I'm going to my computer, right click, go to properties, and then advanced system properties. Advanced system properties. Or if you have Windows 8 or 10, simply search for advanced system settings. Okay. I don't know if you search for environment variables, it will show up or not. But if you search for advanced system settings, it will show up. Okay. Now go to environment variables, and this is where you set the path for environment variables. Okay, path for environment variables. You see, I already have a path for environment variables. So for different programs, it's been set up. Now I need to set up for Java as well. I need to set up for Java as well. Click on edit. Okay, click on edit. For different programs, it's been set. You see, for Strawberry, it's been set. For Fiddler, it has been set. So similarly, I needed to set it for Java as well. Okay, I need to set it for Java as well. So how do I set it? First, let me see where is my Java installed. Okay, let me see where is my Java installed. Okay, obviously it cannot be installed on D drive or F drive. It has to be C drive. So go to C drive. There are two things. One is program files. One is program files x86. It has to be installed on one of them. So you see, I have downloaded a Java which is 64-bit. Most likely it might not be there in this folder called x86. So let me go to this folder. Okay, now let me search with Java. Okay, let me search with Java. You see, there is a folder called Java. Double click on it. You see, JDK is not installed, only JRE is installed. If JDK or the full set is installed, you would have seen two folders, JRE and JDK. So here, double click on this JRE, go to the bin folder, copy this. Okay, all the programs which are, or the files or the library files that is required for the JRE or Java to run, they are in this folder called build folder. You see all the DLL files, which is the library files. Okay, now you are taking this part where all the library files are there, which is very important for any Java program to run. You take that part and then go back here, go back here, and then copy it, and put a semicolon, so that after the semicolon, it is for the next program for this variable. So you see, after this semicolon, okay, let me copy all of this into a notepad++, so that you know what is there inside. Okay, so just now, okay, so just now you have set the environment variables for my Java, which is Java, JRE, and bin. Okay, there seems to be one more environment variable which is already set for some other program, which is Windows System 62. Okay, so there is one more thing which is set. Oh, this seems to be double. I could have deleted this actually speaking, but let it be there. I'm not going to touch that. So seems like I have set it for a tool called Fiddler. I have set it for something else called Strawberry. Okay, so here I have set the path for 5 different programs, to be honest. So one is repeated. I could peacefully delete one of them. Okay, it's not required. So between any two, I have differentiated using a semicolon. Okay, differentiated using a semicolon. Okay, anyways, so now I have set the environment variables for my Java. Okay. Now, if I open it, certainly it's supposed to open. Now go to the bin folder of Java. Okay, not Java, Jmeter. Go to the bin folder of Jmeter and then double click. This is 5.2.1, so which is the latest version. Double click on it, and now you'll be able to open the Jmeter, guys. So here is the first step. Congratulations, guys, all of you. So you have finally opened a tool called Jmeter. Okay, finally opened a tool called Jmeter. Now I can take your questions, guys. If you have any questions, you can unmute yourself, you can ask. Okay, so they were usually 86, 32. Does it mean 32-bit? I'm not 100% sure, but for 32-bit, what they download is 86. Okay, maybe you can do some research. Okay, so guys, any questions so far? We have done a very, very simple step of opening Jmeter so far. Okay, somebody who is completely new to the classes, Gaurav Date, okay, and maybe Kiran, Kunal, okay, new to my classes, so maybe if you have any questions, you can ask me. Sam, who is Sam, guys? Sam, I think is Meenakshi Gupta. Is that you, Sam? So Sunil, Srinivas, if you have any questions, you can ask me. Swarna, Swati, you are all new to my class. So if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and ask, or you can simply put that on the chat window. Okay, looks like there are no questions. Okay, now let's start creating the scripts, guys. Okay, let's start creating the script. Okay. Okay, let's start creating the scripts. Before creating the scripts, there are some prerequisites which needs to be done. Okay, so prerequisites, okay, which needs to be done. So let's go with the first one. Okay, install the certificate in the browser. Okay, obviously that you are using for recording. Whatever the browser that you are using for recording, make sure you install the Jmeter certificate inside. Install the Jmeter certificate, install it. Okay, so that's the first step. Let's go ahead and do it. So where do I get this Jmeter certificate file? Okay, open Jmeter. Okay, go to the bin folder. Okay, go to the bin folder, and there is something called Apache Jmeter temporary root CA. And you see what is it? It is a security certificate, which is a 2 KB file. This is what you need. What is it, guys? It is there in the bin folder, Apache Jmeter temporary root CA certificate. You need to install this root CA certificate in your browser. Okay, let's see in the latest versions this certificate is coming or not. I'm referring to 5.1.1, but let's see this 5.2.1. Is it there? Okay, looks like it is not there in the latest versions. Maybe it's not necessary. The latest versions probably they would have taken away the need for the certificate file. Okay, maybe that could be the reason why it is not asking for it. Okay, or they didn't provide it. But try to download and start recording. If the recording is not happening, guys, then you know that you need the certificate file, guys. Then you know that you need the certificate file. Okay, so Kumar, in the latest versions, I don't have the certificate files. Now what do I do? So just go online, guys. Just go online and download Jmeter root certificate, CS certificate. Okay, so somewhere on the GitHub it's available, you see. Okay, click on that and you just say download zip. Okay, download zip, and then this root certificate is there here. Okay, okay, go to desktop, unzip it. Okay, you see Apache Jmeter root, a temporary root certificate. You can download it from GitHub, guys. So here is it. Okay, so I'm deleting it. I'm sending this link as well in case, okay, with the latest versions, if there is a need for you to install the certificate, okay, you can do that. Okay, by the way, Diva, Abdul has confirmed that 86 means 32 bit. Okay, okay. So Abdul, hopefully you've done enough research before you're sending out those answers. Okay.
Yeah, that's how I install for myself.
Okay. Fine. So now this is where this is where you can download, guys. Okay, root certificate. I gave you the link as well. Okay. So now what do I do with that certificate, guys? What do I do with the certificate? Let's say I wanted to do all my recording on the browser called Chrome browser. I would suggest you to do it with the Chrome browser as well. Okay. Now watch carefully, guys. What am I doing? How am I installing this certificate? Carefully observe. Click on these three dots. Okay. Now go to settings. Okay. Go to settings and then simply search for certificate. Okay. CERT. As I type, it will show up all the search results for this cert, and you go to manage certificates. Okay, and this is where you import or install the certificate, or instead of saying installing the certificate, the right word is importing the certificate. Okay, sorry for that, guys. So I would have to import the certificate. Now click on import, click on next, browse to the place where your certificate is there. Right now it is there on my desktop. It is there in the folder called 5.2.1.1. In the bin folder, I have this Apache Jmeter temporary root certificate. So click on that and click on next. This is important, guys. Select automatically. Okay, so the browser itself automatically will select where it wants to keep the certificate and all that. Click on next, and then it gives you some information about the certificate. If you want, you can get that information. You can go through that information. Click on finish. Okay, import is successful. You wanted to see that message, import is successful. You see the certificate is not available here. It is not available here, but you see it is available here. Okay, so maybe I would have installed it earlier. Again, I've installed it today, which is 12/8/2019. Is that the date? Oh, that's an expiration date. Looks like this is already expired. You see 11/30/2019. That is already expired. Okay, so this is an expiration date, which is 12/8/2019. Time and again, you might have to install, guys, because it is getting expired. Okay. So this is how you can install the certificate. On IE, it should not be difficult as well, guys. So let's try. I never tried on IE as importing the certificate. Let's go ahead and give it a shot. Okay, it should not be that difficult. Go to internet options. Okay, and maybe content is where you would have to go to. Okay, so help me, guys, if you have imported certificates into the IE. Okay, let me know where should I go. Maybe I'm thinking security itself. Okay, maybe advanced. Okay, so let me go search, Google it. Okay,
But
Under
Kumar,
content, Kumar.
okay, content tab. Oh, thanks, Varna. Okay, seems to be knowledgeful. Content.
so
Okay.
if we just add a proxy, will it not help it without the certificate?
Sometimes it will not work. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Okay, it's better you import it. So if you add the proxy, start recording it, and you see that it's not getting recorded, then you will be wondering as to why it is not getting recorded. So it's a good, I mean, lot of people without the certificate recording was never happening. Okay, so that's the reason why I made it as a mandatory. Now you see, this is where you can install it from IE. By the way, you go to the certificates, it's already been installed because you do it from Chrome, you do it from IE, eventually it's the same place where all the certificates will be. Okay, so you see it's too late, it's going to the same place. Okay, so you can, if you are using IE, this is where you go to content, go to certificates, and you can install the certificate from there. Okay. So there you go, guys. So that's how you can install the certificates. Okay, now the first step is done. Okay, so second step, before start creating the script, after every step I would want you to go and try recording, and the recording is not happening, come back to this prerequisites and give it a shot. Okay, clear the browser, or I wouldn't say prerequisites. Okay, this could be a prerequisite. Later on I will say troubleshooting steps. Okay, troubleshooting steps in case recording is not happening. Okay, so let me put it this way, because these are not mandatory. Okay, so in case recording is not working, okay, in case recording is not working, these are all the troubleshooting steps, guys. Okay, what is the first one? Disable your what do you say, guys? Come on, antivirus and firewall. Okay, firewall. Okay, so disable your firewall. How do I do it? Go here, search for firewall. Okay, click on Windows firewall, and then turn the Windows firewall on and off. Then you make sure it is off. In case recording is not happening, these are the troubleshooting steps, guys. Okay, disable antivirus. Okay, because I know, like, a recording is not happening, you will be calling me all the time. So for you it's happening, for me it's not happening, because your system is different. There could be so many things which could be influencing your system. Okay, I don't have an antivirus. I've installed antivirus, uninstalled antivirus a long time back, because it kind of stops me from doing a lot of stuff. So I've completely uninstalled it. But for you, disable it for an hour or 5 hours or 10 hours, whatever it is, and then try recording. Okay. And third one is clear browser cache and cookies. Okay, how do I clear browser cache and cookies? Go here and say search with cache. If somebody has unmuted themselves, guys, please mute yourself. Okay, so go ahead and make sure here it's all time. By default it will be last hour, guys. Okay, make sure it is all time, and browser history, cookies and cache, go ahead and clear it. Okay, you do all this if recording is not happening, guys. If recording is not happening, these are the troubleshooting steps. Okay, so typically it will happen, and sometimes in IE it doesn't work. Try with Chrome. Okay, sometimes with IE it doesn't work. Do it with Chrome. Okay, those are the troubleshooting steps, guys. Okay, now we'll go to the prerequisites. Okay. Okay. Once with this prerequisite is done, okay, we are ready to start creating the scripts. But there is one more step, okay, that you will have to do. I might not call it as a prerequisite, but it is a step. Okay, let's put it in the prerequisites itself. Okay, define, create proxy server. Okay, and then what do I say? Make necessary steps to capture HTTP traffic. Okay, so we'll talk about these two steps. Okay, make necessary arrangements is what I will say, or configure Jmeter tool. Okay, the best word is configure Jmeter tool to capture HTTP traffic. Okay, so I'll go for a break. After the break, we'll talk about these two things. Okay, so what is this? Configuring the proxy server. Okay, For creating the scripts, it's import a certificate, then configure or create the proxy server or configure the proxy server or set up the proxy server. Okay, that's the right word. And then configure the Jmeter tool. First, before doing this, we'll try to understand why, and then we'll try to do this. Okay, implement this. First, before doing anything, we'll try to understand why we need to set up this proxy server and all that. Then we'll go ahead and do this, and we'll start recording. Okay, and finally, if nothing is working, all this is not working, there are alternate ways to record the scripts, which we will discuss today as well. Okay, so there is somebody who has unmuted yourself. You can ask the question. Okay.
Kumar, where did we? Sorry, I was not paying attention. Where did we get the certification from?
Oh my God, I spent so much time explaining. Okay, it is there in the bin folder. Here is the certificate.
No. By default, if it is not there, where do we get it? Is there any other
I
place?
sent
That's
you
what
a
my
link,
question.
right? Just now I sent you a link which is there in the
Okay.
GitHub. Okay, in the chat window, I'm clicking on that link that I've sent you. Okay, so this is where you can download it from the
All right.
GitHub.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, it is there on the chat window. Okay, so guys, please take 10 minutes break. I'll keep the recording on, but I'll mute myself. Okay. So after the break, we'll come back and discuss the next thing. Okay. So guys, whoever have joined new, are you comfortable, guys? Maybe Swati, Swarna, Vasant, okay, Srinivas, Sunil. These are all the new guys. How are you finding it? Is it okay? Beneficial? Kunal, Kim, Kiran. Okay. So Gaurav. So you're all new. So you're finding it good, comfortable. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Whoever you were speaking. Kiran, go ahead, Kiran.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. But is we learn to this Jmeter, we have to know about any Java basics or not. So without any Java background knowledge, is it comfortable to learn?
Okay,
Because
so
is it easy to?
okay, Sunil is asking a question. Do we need to have a Java background for using the tool? Java Jmeter is built on Java, guys. Just now we have seen. Okay, without Java, which is JRE, Jmeter will not open. It doesn't mean that you need to know Java to use Jmeter. Okay, so to build Jmeter, you need to know Java, but to use Jmeter, you need not. Okay. Okay, to create Jmeter tool, okay, you need Java knowledge. Okay, so which can be done using JDK, right? It can be built using Jmeter. But for using Jmeter, okay, as it is, okay, you don't need Java. Okay, you don't need Java knowledge. Okay. Okay, so are we clear, guys? Are we clear? Is it Sunil or Kiran? Kiran, is it clear?
Yeah, Kiran, yes, clear.
Yeah. Okay,
So, Kumar, just
So,
wanted to add here.
let me complete. Abdul, let me complete. One
Sure.
second. Okay,
Sure.
I'll definitely. But okay, as I've told you, okay, JMeter has certain limitations. Okay, JMeter has certain limitations. To go beyond the limitations, what they have given plugins. Okay, so that you go beyond those limitations. For example, the parameter file you want to pick up randomly, something like that. But JMeter tool itself will not give you. Somebody created the plugins for JMeter, and it's an open source tool. Okay, so somebody like maybe Hagos or maybe Ayala or maybe Abdul is very smart with Java. He has created a plugin. Okay, me as a Kumar can just install that plugin and start using it, so that we are going beyond these limitations. But still, there are certain limitations wherein there is no plugins. Then you have to create your own program. Okay, then you have to create your own program. Very rarely you would have to do this. Very rarely you would have to do this. The programs can be done on Bean Shell. Okay, it is just like Java, just like Python, just like C. There is a programming language called Bean Shell or Groovy. Okay, or there is something called JSR2 or something like this. I've never heard about that programming language. You can use that. So, Kiran, did I answer it? Bean Shell is loosely based on Java, but it's not Java itself. Okay, so to use Jmeter by itself, okay, most of the people without writing a single piece of code in Groovy or Winchell, you can get the projects done. At least I have done 3 to 4 projects without writing a single line of code using Jmeter as it is. Sometimes I had to use plugins, okay, and there is something called Jmeter functions. Okay, Jmeter functions are there. Using these Jmeter functions and plugins, I have implemented at least 3 to 4 projects. Okay, but I know some of my friends, they had to write small piece of Java code, I mean Bean shell code or Groovy code to get certain functionality, certain things done. Okay, so this is what I can tell you. So Kiran, is it clear, your question?
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Okay, so finally, do we
Yes.
need to know Java to use Jmeter? No, you need have to
No.
know Java, but yes, you need to know maybe Bean shell or Groovy to do certain tasks which happens very, very rarely. Okay, that's what I would say.
Yes.
Yeah, Kumar, I have a question. These plugins are free too?
Yeah, these plugins are free as well, which we will, as a part of the class, we'll explore some of the plugins. The others, you can explore. There are a whole bunch of plugins.
And one more question, like when we use the Jmeter, do we test the APIs or the end user, I mean UI also? Can we have the performance? Both? Okay. Okay.
So I don't want to jump the gun at this point of time, but I'm just, because you have asked that question. Okay. So was it Swarna who has asked that question?
Yeah, it's Varna.
Okay. So let me see. I mean, the plugin manager should be there. I'm just thinking, if it is there. Yeah, it's not there. Okay, these are the functions. Yeah, these are the functions. It looks like I have uninstalled the plugin manager. Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's
had
okay,
I had
Kumar. I
that
just
plugin manager,
want to know. Just want to know. You take a.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So guys, let me take a break quickly. I'll come back and then we'll continue. We'll start.
Yeah.
We'll try to create the first script today, guys. Okay. We'll try to create the first script today. Okay. So expect the class to go a little longer. Okay. And in case if the scripting is not working, we'll explore the additional options of how to create the scripts on Jmeter as well. Okay. And there are some wonderful interview questions are also there. So hold on, guys. Just hold on for 5 to 10 minutes. And after that, we'll come back and create our first script. Okay. Thank you, guys. Guys, are you able to hear me? Can one of you please confirm? Okay. So, Slayu, just hold on. We haven't started using the tool yet. As we start using, you'll start understanding all of it. Okay. Just hold on for maybe one more day. Okay. So, so that you will start understanding all of it. Okay. So, okay, guys. So let's get started before the break. Okay. So I hope it's been 10 minutes. Okay, and everybody is back. Okay. Now, okay. So before the break, we understood some basic things. Okay, to get your recording started. Okay. So if the recording is not happening, the troubleshooting steps is disable the firewall, disable the antivirus, and clear the browser cache and cookies. Typically, this will help you. But for recording itself, first we need to import the Jmeter certificate into the browser, and then the next two steps, which is setting up the proxy and configure the Jmeter tool. Okay, to capture the HTTP traffic. But why do we need to set up the proxy server? Okay, so let's try to understand that. And setting it up itself doesn't take too much time. Okay, it's a piece of cake. But why do we need to set it up? Let's try to understand that. Okay, so guys, let's say here is your browser. Okay, here's your browser, and here is your server. Any application. Okay, let's take it's a Facebook. So from the browser, you are accessing the Facebook application, which means that the request would send to the Facebook server. Okay, which means that the request would be sent to the Facebook server. Okay, so from the browser, you say www.facebook.com. So usually the request goes to the Facebook server. The server sends the response back. Okay, the request goes to the Facebook server, and the server sends the response back. But okay, you wanted to capture that information. So let me, instead of PPT, let me open the Paint. Okay, so that I'll be able to explain this better. Okay, so let's say here is your Facebook browser. Okay, and here is the Facebook server. You know that you will have a bunch of servers, not just one server. But just to make my life easy, I just set every server here, and here is your browser. Okay, maybe your IE or Google Chrome or whatever it is. Okay, now you said www.facebook.com or something like that. You have typed here, okay, wp.com, and click enter. What you expect is a request goes to the server, and the server will try to understand the request, process the request, and sends the response back. Now, this request and response is what you wanted to capture into a tool called Jmeter. This is what I wanted to capture into this tool called Jmeter. Okay, so the Jmeter tool. What I want, once I wanted to create the scripts, what I wanted to do, I wanted to capture this request and the response into the Jmeter tool. That's how I'll be able to create the request. Okay, I wanted to capture. So on the fly, as the request is going on and the response you're getting back, whatever the request it is nothing but the data packets. It's nothing but the data packets going to the server. Server understands whatever is there in the data packet and sends the response back, which is the data packets again. Okay, so Jmeter, as a Jmeter, I wanted to capture this information as to whatever the data going in and whatever the data coming out of this server, I wanted to capture so that I can make the script out of it. I can make a script out of it. Okay. So now the request going in and the response coming back. Okay, I wanted to capture. I need some place, this is on the fly, I cannot capture because, you see how fast the request and the response comes back. So the Jmeter needs to have some place wherein it needs to monitor, it needs to watch this traffic. Okay, it needs to watch this traffic as to what traffic as in the request going in and the response coming back. I'm calling it as a traffic, which is the network traffic. Jmeter needs to monitor or needs to capture or needs to get to see as to what is going in and what is coming back. Okay, the Jmeter has to see it. How can he see it? Jmeter just like it's over here, it cannot see what is going on. Okay, so you need to make some arrangement so that the Jmeter can get a feeling as to what is going in and what is coming back. It needs to look into it. Okay, so you want something, you want something to do, or some configuration needs to be done so that the Jmeter can capture. Okay, so let's say there is a house and there is some some kind of argument is going on, or maybe some kind of issues has been discussed, let's assume, in a house. So you wanted to know what is happening. So what would you do? Probably you can put security cameras inside the house, or probably you can put some microphones inside the house, and probably you can listen to what is happening inside the house. So you need to make some arrangement, some setup in the house, so that you can listen to what is happening over there in that house in case if you wanted to listen. Okay. Similarly, okay, Jmeter wants to listen to it. Jmeter wants to understand it. Jmeter wants to capture whatever the traffic it is. So you need to make some arrangements, between this request and the response, between this browser and the FB server. You need to make some arrangement so that my Jmeter can capture that information. Okay. So what would you actually do is, okay. So what would you do is, let me move this aside a little bit. Okay, what you do is you create something called, you set up something called a proxy server here. Okay, you set up something called a proxy server. Okay. You set up a proxy server and make sure that the request from the browser, it goes to FB server. First it has to go to the proxy server, and from the proxy server it goes to the FB server, and the response will not come to the browser directly but goes to the proxy server, and then it goes to the browser. So you made an intermediate stop for this request, and you're making sure that the request goes to this proxy servers and the response goes to this proxy servers. So once this is set up, then this is the first step. Okay, once this is set up, this is the first step. Okay, and now you have your Jmeter listen to this proxy server. You have your Jmeter. Okay, you configure the Jmeter in such a way that you listen to this proxy server, which is your step 2. Okay, which is your step 2. Okay, so are we clear this? Are we clear? Since Jmeter has to capture this one, since some discussion is happening in the house, just by staying outside you cannot. What you do is you put a security cameras, and then you do some setup in the house so that standing outside you will be able to listen and see what is happening inside the house. So in some setup needs to be done. Here also, Jmeter standing outside, it cannot see what is happening, or the traffic is, what is the traffic that is going on between browser and server. It needs to understand that. Okay, standing outside you cannot. So what it has done, first what you have to do, you have to set up the proxy server just like you have installed the security cameras and the mic inside the house, and then configure the Jmeter to listen to it. And then you have enough equipment outside to see what is happening inside. So you configure the Jmeter to capture this information. So these are the two things. So these are the two steps that we are about to discuss, and this is the need for these two steps. Okay, set up the proxy server, which is actually the step 2. So let me call this as step 2 instead of step 1. Okay, and then step 3 is configure the Jmeter tool to capture this traffic. Okay. Okay, so that's what it is. So are we clear this? I'm going to show you how to do this, but at least are we clear as to why we are doing this? All of you?
Kumar, sorry to interrupt. I just missed this part.
Who is it? Who is it speaking? Swarna?
Yeah, I'm Srinivas.
Okay, okay. So Srinivas, what we are doing is we are talking about these steps, okay? So prerequisites, as a part of prerequisites, before the break, we thought, we'll set up the, we said that to capture the script or to capture the traffic, we need to set up the proxy server and configure the Jmeter tool to capture the HTTP traffic. So why do? We are not understood how to do it, but before understanding how to do it, I'm just explaining why we need to set up this traffic. Okay, so let's say from the browser, let's say you're sending a request to the Facebook server. Okay, so you said www.facebook.com. A request goes to the FB server, you get the response back. But the Jmeter needs to capture that. How do we capture it? So in a house, let's say there is a discussion going on and you need to understand what is going on. So you need some prior setup in the house. Maybe you put some security cameras and mice and all that, so that from the outside, you'll be able to listen what's going on. Similarly, you will set up a proxy server and force the request to go through this proxy server, and then force the response to go through this proxy server before it reaches the server, before it reaches the browser. So you're making this request and response pass through this proxy server, okay, before it reaches their respective destinations. And now you set up the Jmeter in such a way that whatever is going through this proxy server, you will capture it using the Jmeter. So that's what I was explaining, Srinivas. Is it clear?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Kumar.
Okay, so now I'll try to explain how to set up the proxy server and how to configure the Jmeter tool. Setting up the proxy server is very simple, guys. Okay, the steps is very simple. Again, go to settings, okay, and type PROXY, okay, and you see open computer proxy settings, okay. Automatically it goes to the proxy settings. Go to the LAN settings and just say proxy server, user proxy server, and here enter localhost and port. You can give any port. I choose to give 8888. Okay, now the first step is done, setting up the proxy server. Okay, so what did I do again? Okay, so go to the Chrome settings. Okay, go here, go to the settings, and here there is something called search. Okay, in the search, type proxy, open the computer proxy, and then open the LAN settings, and then by default it will be unchecked. Click on check, and which server you are making as a proxy? Your local host. Okay, your computer you are making it as a proxy, and from which port, you know, the information needs. You said the information. Okay, let me open this one. Yeah. So the request needs to go to the proxy server and the response needs to come to the proxy server. So from which port all this can happen? From the port called 8888. You're saying the request can go through this port 8888 and the response also can go through this port 8888. Which port it is using? It is using the port 8888. Okay. Why 8888? Because I have configured it as 8888. So the request, whatever the request and the response will go through this door called 8888 or port called 8888. Okay. For a home, you can have multiple doors. Whichever the door which is open, you can use that door and go inside. So typically, there are some ports which are typically open. There is a range. So 8888 is the port using which the request and the response will use so that it can contact this proxy server or go through this proxy server. Why so? Because I've set it as 8888. Okay, click on OK, click on OK. Okay, now the first part is done, which is setting up the proxy server is done, guys. The first part is done, setting up the proxy server. Okay, are we clear with this one, guys? All of you? Are we clear with this one? Setting up the proxy server? Very simple. Go to the browser, make your local host or your local machine as a proxy server, local host, and give a port 8888 or any port. Okay, I've chosen 8888, which means that the request and the response will use that port to get into the proxy server. Okay.
Sir, we can give any kind of number at that place as a.
Sorry.
Yeah, we can give any kind of number like 888 at that place.
Yes, you can give. I think there could be some ports which are open. Some of them might be already used. So you got to be careful. Try to use 8888 itself because it is reserved for proxy in general. Okay, you can use
Okay.
anything.
Okay.
Okay, so who has asked this question? Can I know?
Kiran.
Kiran. Okay, so let me keep this question in the question bank. Okay, can we use any port? Can we use any port for proxy? Okay, I'll demonstrate this, Kiran. Okay, once I create the script, we'll try to change the port and see if you are able to create the script. Okay, we'll do some experiment. Is that okay, Kiran?
Okay,
Yeah?
sir. Okay,
We'll
okay,
do.
that's fine.
We'll change the port to see if it is still working. If it is working, which means that we can use any. Okay, but for right now,
Yeah.
I'm using. But I'll keep your question in the question bank, and once we create the script, we'll go back and change the code to something else, and then we'll see if it is
Then we can try.
okay. Okay, so now the first step is done, setting up the proxy server. Second is configure the Jmeter tool to capture the HTTP traffic. Now carefully observe. Let me open the Jmeter. Okay, I'm using the version 5.2.1. That's what you will be using as well. Okay, now First, we go to the step 3. Before we go to the step 3, in this one, generally whatever the functionality that Jmeter is giving us, it calls itself as elements. Okay, it calls itself as elements. So, okay, so what does it call it as? Elements. Okay, so what is the element that we need to use? Okay, what is the element that we use to record? Okay, what is the element that we need to use to record is HTTPS test script recorder. Okay, element is some functionality that Jmeter is giving to me. We call it as elements. Okay, for recording, what is the element that I need? HTTP or HTTPS, that's what it means, test script recorder. So this is the element which will help me to create the scripts or to capture the scripts or to do the scripts. Okay, so now I have this HTTP test script recorder which will create the scripts for me. Wonderful. Okay, which will create the scripts for me. Wonderful. Okay, you see, and by the way, we call this as an element. Okay, now you can start recording, but before start recording, we have done with 2 prerequisites: importing the certificate, setting up the proxy, but we haven't done the third step, which is configure Jmeter tool. So how do I configure the Jmeter tool? You can configure the Jmeter tool from this element called HTTP test script recorder, and here you see the port 8888 is what you have given. Why we have given 8888 here? So that my Jmeter also listen to this port as to what is the request going into this port 8888. Jmeter also will listen via this port to see what is the activity which is happening on this proxy server. Okay, so that is what I am talking about. You give 8888 and domain you can give it as localhost, or by default it will take localhost. Okay, and that's about it. So third step is done. Which is configure the Jmeter tool to listen to the HTTP traffic. So whatever is there over here, all the activity is going through the port 8888. Jmeter will also listen to this proxy server from the port 8888 to see what is happening on this port. Okay, wonderful guys. We will discuss about, there are a few options here. As we proceed further, we'll try to discuss these options, but right now I am excited to create the scripts. Let me create the scripts, and later on we'll go ahead and explore the additional options which will be there here. Okay, now is not the time. You can put any comments if you want. Okay, to create the scripts, or I'm creating the scripts, or whatever it is. Okay, or maybe for a particular script called login or something like that you can create. Okay, now you can start recording the script. Once I start recording the script,
the color of the Jimmy, it is black red. Can we change it to white so that it will be more comfortable to see?
Sorry, somebody is speaking. Was that from me? Swarna?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So,
Swati.
Yeah, tell me. So, tell me, what is this one?
Can we change the color of the Jmeter panel, sir? Can we change it to white? I think we have the options, the Windows peel and all.
So let me try to change it later. I'm comfortable with the black, Swati, but at the later point of time, I'll tell you how to change it. Okay, let's go with this one because.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
But we can do that. We can do those miscellaneous things like changing the color and theme color and all that. Okay, I'll do that, Swati. But we'll do that a little later. Okay, so I don't want it to deviate. Right now we'll go with it because on the black this white color looks good, so we'll go with this one. Okay, but later on, if you want, I'll tell you how to change that as well. Later on, we can play around with that. Okay, now you see, once the script gets recorded, it needs to be stored somewhere. Don't you think, guys? Once we start recording, once this recording starts, okay, the recorded script needs to be somewhere. Okay, it needs to be stored somewhere. Did we mention anywhere that where you wanted the script to be stored, or the captured information or the captured script to be stored? Did we unintentionally or intentionally mention it somewhere? Yes, you see, test plan content, okay, target controller, use recording controller. This is where we are saying that store the information. Okay, whatever is being captured, okay. Oh, wonderful, Leslie. You are ahead of the class. I'm so happy. Okay, so whatever is captured, that should be stored into a controller called recording controller. Okay, so there are too many words which are coming into picture. Okay, we have discussed about the elements. Now we are discussing about controllers. Okay, Kumar, I'm totally lost. What are these elements? What are these controller? Welcome to Jmeter, guys. This is the Jmeter terminology. Okay, controller is more like a placeholder to keep your content. Okay, or in other words, okay, if you are taking this equivalently into LoadRunner, this is more like an action. Okay, in LoadRunner, whatever the script that gets generated, you store into something called action. Here, whatever the script that gets generated, you store into something called controllers. Controllers is similar to actions if it comes to LoadRunner, guys. Or basically, you wanted to put the script at a certain place, and that certain place is a controller. Okay, it is think like it's more like a folder or more like a file. Okay, where you put all your stuff inside it. Okay, are we clear, guys? Are we clear what I'm talking about? Controller, it is more like an action when it comes to LoadRunner. It is the place where you put your script. Okay, put your content, keep your content or keep your script. Okay, so you want to store that script at a certain place, and that certain place is nothing but a controller. Okay, certain place is nothing but a controller. Okay, so for creating the controller, let me see where you wanted to store the controller, store the script in the recording controller. First, you need to create that recording controller. Let's try to see if I can find that controller into this HTTP in this test plan. By the way, the test plan is the root folder, guys. By the way, the test plan is the root folder wherein the entire Jmeter script comes into picture. For right now, too many things are there. All this becomes overwhelming. I cannot explain each one very carefully, but trust me, guys, in the next 2 to 3 days, you will be totally comfortable with the test plan, with the terms like controller, with the terms like elements. Right now, vaguely, if you're understanding, okay, try to keep the understanding to that level. Don't try to understand more than that, because as we create the scripts, the clarity becomes more and more. Okay, so for now, okay, test plan, just assume that it is the main root folder. That's how you should think about it. Okay, so let me see if the controller is there here. I have threads, I have config elements, I have listeners, timers, preprocessor, post-process, assertions, test script, test fragments, and non-test elements, but I cannot see a controller inside it. But here, once the script, what is my HTTP element called HTTP test script recorder is saying, whatever the script I am generating, I am storing into a folder or a controller called recording controller. I need to create that first. Okay. Let me see if it is there over here. No, all I have is timers, preprocessors, okay, and listeners. Okay. Now what do I do, guys? Come on. So don't worry, guys. What I'll do is on the right click, first I'll create something called a thread group. Again, Kumar, what is this thread group? Don't worry about all that, guys. Okay, slowly I'll come to. First, let's create our first script. Later on, slowly we'll try to understand why we have each of these elements. Okay, but first, let's create the thread group. Okay, let's create the thread group. Again, I'm telling, don't get overwhelmed, don't get worried as to why we are creating the thread group. For now, all I need is whatever the script that gets generated, it should be there in the recording controller. I don't have the recording controller, so I'm trying to create a recording controller. Okay, so from the thread group, add, and then you see in the logic controllers, there is something called, do you see something called recording controller, guys? Do you see something called recording controller? Yes, click on that. Now, whatever the script my HTTP test script recorder records, it will be stored into this recording controller. Are we clear so far, guys? Are we clear? Don't ask me at this point of time why we have created a thread group. Okay, I'll cover that as well. Okay, and why there is something called a test plan. I'll cover that as well. But just try to understand that whatever the script that gets recorded, it needs to be stored somewhere. It will be stored into the recording controller, and we have just created a recording controller. Okay, now go back here and you see where you wanted to store test plan, test thread group, recording controller. This is where I wanted to see. Test plan, thread group, recording controller. Under test plan, you have thread group. Under thread group, you have recording controller. And this is where I wanted to store my script. Wonderful, guys. Wonderful. Okay. Now, as soon as I start recording, all the content will be stored in this recording controller. Okay, let me start recording. Okay, it is talking about the root certificate which you have already imported, and it is validity, it is 7 days. Okay, after 7 days you would have to record it. I need some application. I'll use an application called JPEG store, guys. Okay, so we'll talk about this application at the later point of time. All I have done is launch the application, sign in, log in, and sign out. All I did is launch, log in, and log out. Okay, that's it. I have done. Okay, stop recording. Now, do you expect something to be there in this recording controller, guys? Okay, if the recording has happened properly, do you expect something to be there in this recording controller? All of you? What do you think, guys?
Yes, we're expecting.
Yes,
The,
yes. Okay, let's
the,
see.
requ-
Yeah,
the
Abdul,
request
sorry.
and response. Yeah.
That should be there. Wonderful. The request and the response is what we are expecting to see in the recording controller. Okay, to see in the recording controller. What does Abdul? So there are two questions. Okay, let me put these two questions. One question is from, this is from Kiran. Okay. Second is, it's not a question, it is a suggestion from Abdul saying that request and response both should be there. Okay. So this is what Abdul says, and this is a question asked by. Okay, now let me go ahead and see. Oh my God, there's a bunch of stuff that got recorded. Wonderful. Okay, so you see, each one is called sampler, guys. By the way, each one is called what? Sampler. Okay, each one is a sampler. Okay, each one is a sampler. Math. So today I have introduced a lot of words. One is elements. Okay, one is controllers, and one is sampler. Okay, slowly you're becoming a Jmeter expert, guys. At this point of time, I know you have very minimal knowledge on these three terms, which are very important to learn Jmeter. But as we proceed further, slowly you'll understand. Each of them I'll take my own time to explain, probably spend 15 to 20 minutes, even half an hour explaining. And controller, I'll spend 2 to 3 days to explain what all the different types of controllers are there. Okay, each one is an element, everything is an element in Jmeter, which you will understand eventually. And sampler, whatever the script that got recorded, that is sampler. Again, we'll try to understand the samplers, okay, in detail at some point. Maybe tomorrow, day after tomorrow. In one day, you cannot learn all of it, right? Okay. So you see, a bunch of script has been created. Wonderful. Okay, but if you see each sampler, what you have is just a request. What you have is just a request. You don't see a response. If there is any data, okay, you will see. And if it's a get request, you will see a get request. And when will you see a data, guys? When will you see the data? What kind of method should be there so that you can see some data, guys? What should be the method, okay,
Post.
of the request so that you can see something? Wonderful. It should be a post request. Thanks, Abdul. And thanks, Abdisar Gautam. Okay, it should be a post request, or maybe a put request, or maybe a delete request so that you can see some body data. If it's a get request, you will see a body data. Okay, let me see if there is any post request anywhere here. And post request is not mandatory to see the data, but there could be. The chances are there. Okay, post request. Okay, so you see the parameters. This is the body that you're saying. You see, you're sending the data as a body. This is considered to be a body data. It is not
Login.
to click on the body data. This is the information that you're sending with this post request. Okay, you're sending the username, you're sending the password, you're sending some login name, source page, FP. This is the information that you're sending with this post request. Typically, you either have a body data or the parameters. Okay. Wonderful, guys. So this is what the script that has been created. Let's try to understand this script at the later point of time. Don't get overwhelmed, guys. Don't panic. Don't overwhelm, guys. Okay. I'm just showing you the complete path to record, but we will try to explore. After that, we'll try to spend a lot of time and trying to understand each of it. Okay. So now, okay, as Abdul said, Abdul is expecting both request and response. What I see is only the request. You see, for all of this, I see how many requests here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Around 25 requests I have seen. Okay, for three things. What is that? For launch, okay, for launch, then I have logged in, then I have. So how many requests I have seen? Basically, these are all called samplers. But right now, I'll as in the layman's language, I'll use the words request. How many requests I have seen? Have request 25 requests. Have I seen any response anywhere? There is no response. Oh, so I needed to do something. Something needs to be set up so that I can see those responses as well. Is that so? Okay. We'll do that particular setup to see how we can see the responses as well. First, let me clear all of it because I'm planning to record again. And this time around, I'm not only capturing the request, okay, but also the response. There is some setup needs to be done on Jmeter so that I can not only capture the request but also response. By default, it is not capturing the responses, but I want, as a performance tester, I wanted to see the responses as well. So what do? Some setup needs to be done. First, let me clear what all the recording I have done. You can select all of it like this and just simply right click on it and then say delete. Okay, there should be something called remove. You can do that, or simply you can put on the recording controller and clear all the recording samplers. Wonderful. Okay, now to not only capture the request, but I want to capture the responses as well. You need to do a small setup called listeners. You have to add something called listeners. You have to add something called listeners. There are a bunch of listeners here. The first thing that you add is view results tree. What do you add? View results tree. Why did we added this view results tree? What is a view results tree? It is not a sampler, it is not a controller, it is not a pre-processor, post-processor, assertion, timer, but it is something called listener. And a bunch of listeners here. The one that you wanted to add is view results tree. Wonderful. Now let me go ahead and record it again. Okay. Let me launch. Okay. Let me sign in and sign out. Stop the recording. Wonderful, guys. Okay. You saw all the requests now, and oh, listeners, you're supposed to capture listeners. It should be there in the thread group, maybe. Hang on, guys, one second. Let me give it a shot once more. Just give me a moment, guys. Oh, it should be in the previous history. Okay. It should be the HTTP script recorder itself. Okay. So let me enable it. So view results tree. It added in the HTTP recorder itself, I believe. So I did add it in the HTTP recorder itself. Not sure why it is not showing. Okay. Hang on, guys. Test plan, thread group, HTTP script recorder, and then 8888 start recording. Maybe I just misplaced the test recorder. Okay. Sign out and then stop recording. Oh, there you go. Now it has captured. Okay. So here now we are able to see. We are not only able to see the recording. Okay. We are not only able to see the recording, but we are able to see the response. I mean the request and the response as well. You see, is the request and the response data for each of them. Okay. Request and the response data. Request and the response data. Okay. So this is where you can see the request and the response. Okay, so you have to add something called view results tree. You have to add something called view results tree so that you can see the response as well. You can see the request and the response. You can see both the request. Okay, what is the request that you have sent and what is the response that you got for each of those sampler. Sampler means the request. Each of the request or each of the sampler, you will be able to do it. Okay. Okay, Gaurav Datte. I mean, yeah, that's what I've done, but somehow it didn't add it, looks like. Okay, but using the template I have done, it has worked. Later on, I'll talk about the template as well, guys. Okay, but now, okay, So are we clear, guys? All of you, are we clear? Okay, how to capture the request and the response? You have to add the listener called view results. You have to add the listener called, okay, view results tree. Okay, you have to add the listener called view results tree so that you can capture, you can look at what is the request and what is the response for each of those samplers. Whatever the samplers that got recorded, for each of those samplers, you will be able to see the request and the response. Okay, so for example, the sampler called 35, what is the request that you are sending? Here is the request that you are sending. What is the response that you got? Here is the response that you got from the server. Okay, and this is the response header. Okay, later on we look at the importance of this rolling. Okay, but for right now, okay, since Abdul has brought it up, so I thought, you know, I'll make some enough changes to my script so that it will capture the request and the response as well. Okay, are we clear so far, guys? Today, for the last thing, I'll take Kiran's question and close this today's session. But whatever has been taught so far, are we clear, all of you? Are we clear, all of you? Okay, yes. Now, the Kiran has asked that, you know, can I change the proxy port? Okay, so let me change the port to 8887. Okay, 8887 and start recording. Okay, do you think it will work, guys, if I change it to 8887 and if I start recording? Okay, if I start recording, let me clear all the content here. Okay, let me clear all of this as well. Okay, let me clear everything. Okay, everything is clean and neat. Okay, or maybe I'll create a new template altogether. Okay, so recording template, or let's completely create a fresh template. I haven't spoken about the template, so let's not worry about it. Okay, so let me create the thread group. Okay, and let me, inside this thread group, let me create a controller. Controller, and here let me create a listener called view results. Okay, so now my script, I'm ready to record the script. So if I start recording, will it work, guys? Will it work? What do you think? Will it work? Okay, it should work irrespective of the port. It should work. But do you think any changes needs to be done here? Do you think any changes needs to be done
Yes,
here? Yeah. Okay. So
yes, sir. Here port.
yeah, here we have given the port as 8887. So don't we think we should give
Yes.
the same port here? Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Kiran. Okay, so we'll change this to 8887. Okay, and it's a local host. You can put the local host here, or you can ignore. Start creating the scripts. Start creating the scripts, or start recording. Let me see if it will capture or not. Okay. I'll launch the script. Sign in, log in, and sign. Okay. Stop recording. So Kiran, did it work? Are you able to capture even after changing the port?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Once
Now we
we
can.
saw that,
Yeah.
view result.
Yeah. So view results. You have captured the request and the response you're seeing here, and also you're seeing here as well those samples, which means that
Yes.
changing the port also works. So did I answer your question? Yes. What was the answer for the
Yeah.
question? Answer is yes. You can
Yes.
change. Okay. Request and response, Abdul, we can see it by using something called listeners. Okay, in the listeners, you will see view results. Okay, that is what it is. So it's a bunch of things that we have seen here today. Okay, so this is more like on the high level we have understood what all these things are. Okay, so as we proceed further, we'll go in depth into the controller, we go in depth into the samplers, we go in depth into the listeners as we proceed further into the tomorrow's class. Okay, so tomorrow we'll try to understand if the script is not getting recorded via Jmeter, what else we need to do, and then slowly we start exploring from the controllers. Okay, so what kind of controllers are there, what are there, and all that, and then we'll go into the samplers, we'll go to the listeners, and slowly we'll try to come to timers, and then we'll try to understand. Finally, at the last point, I'll try to explain what is the thread group as well. Okay, then the plugins, and slowly we'll start understanding more and more. Okay, today's class end here. Assignment for today. Okay, create your first script. Create your first script. Take any application. If you want this demo kicker application, okay, you know the URL, or else I'm putting this URL down on the chat window. You can take the URL from the chat window and start creating the scripts. If you have any questions, you can ping me and I'll get to you. Okay? And already we have overrun the time, guys. A lot of people have left for the day, so we'll stop the class here today. Okay? And if you wanted to proceed from tomorrow, anybody who have joined and proceed from tomorrow, completely new, haven't made the payments, go ahead and make the payments before start attending tomorrow's session, guys. Okay? Maybe Srinivas or Sunil or Swati, whoever has stayed back here. Okay? So if you like the classes and you wanted to learn and want to make the payments, you can touch base with me, guys. Okay? It
Yeah,
doesn't
sure,
affect the
Kumar. Sure, Kumar.
Sure, thank you. Hibi has asked a question. Does it affect the response times? No. Okay. While recording, the proxy server is coming into picture, but while playing back, the proxy isn't coming to picture. The proxy has nothing to do with when we are playing back. So it has no effect ever so when we are playing back. Only while capturing, the proxy server is setting into, only when we send a request from the browser, the proxy is coming into picture and you're capturing the script. But when you're running the script, basically you're not running from the browser, you're running from the Jmeter. Proxy is not coming into picture. Okay, what is happening when you're playing back the script? Okay, what is happening when you're playing back the script? So simply the request, what is happening? Simply the request will send from the Jmeter server, the request is going to the FB server, or in this case JPEG server, and the response is coming back to the Jmeter. It is not going to the browser, which means that proxy is not coming. Have I answered that question? Only for capturing the script we did this setup, and now the script has there in the Jmeter. You execute from the Jmeter. Proxy is not coming to picture. The request is going to the server and coming back to the Jmeter. Proxy server is not involved at all, so it doesn't have any effect at all while playing back. Okay. Did I answer that question? Yeah. Only from if the same request is sent from the browser, yeah, it has to go through the proxy and all that. Okay, then there is an issue. But if you're replaying the script from Jmeter, which means that browser is not coming into picture, request directly going to the FB server and coming back, so nothing. And by the way, once you set up the proxy, right, and if you're trying to use the internet without Jmeter, it will not work, guys. It will not work. Okay, it will say that there is an issue. Unless you take away the proxy, your internet will not work. Just in case, you have made this change and then you realize that your internet is not working because you have set up the proxy server. Okay? Okay, guys.
Kumar?
Yeah, well,
Yeah, Kiran, go ahead, ask the question.
yeah,
Kiran,
at here, so where we can see that response time. So how much
come on.
time to take that?
We'll see. Lot of time is there. We have 15 to 20 sessions. Once we play back, I'll show you how to play back. There are a bunch of things that we need to go through before we get to the response times and
Oh,
looking at them.
okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Kumar, Srinivas here. So is this the same tool that is used in the companies, or we have any enterprise editions?
No. This is when you go to the company as well. This is what you will use. If Jmeter is your project.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Any more questions? We have Anil.
Not that.
Sorry. Go ahead, answer. Caller 01. Go ahead, answer. Sorry, I'm not able to hear you. By the way, we have Anil Mainali in our class. He's from Nepal and he's a Jmeter expert. He has done at least 2 to 3 projects on Jmeter. He knows Jmeter tool really well. Okay, in case if you have any questions, you can reach out to Anil as well, guys. He's a very good Jmeter expert. I've seen him do the work.
Hi, Kumar.
Hi, Anil.
Yeah, thank you for the introduction. I'm just here to learn from you more. Yeah, but
I'll try to give my knowledge as much as I could. Maybe there will
yes,
be some pieces which you could learn from me.
yes. Thank you, Kumar.
Sure, my pleasure.
Thank you.
So, yeah, caller 01, you have unmuted yourself. You have any questions, you can ask me. Yeah, thank you, Anil. No questions. Sorry, Anil, to cut you off. There used to be somebody unmuted, then immediately, I had to go there. Yeah. And Hagos, how are you, buddy? Leslie, I hope you're doing well. Raghu, wonderful man, Raghu. Swarna, thank you to see you today. Swati, Vasant, wonderful Vasant to see you. Swati, you can take a decision to join or not today. Abdul, so Abdul, you have to pay attention, okay? You're doing multiple things while you're listening to my class. I'm feeling so bad about it, okay? Okay. And caller 01, I don't know. Gaurav Date, hopefully this is just a repetition of last class, Gaurav. So just wait for a couple of more days, then you will start learning new stuff from me. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you for joining today. We'll call it off. See you tomorrow at the same time. Bye-bye. Take care.
Have a good day, Kumar.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Swana. Take care. Bye-bye.